Africa, hello Cameroon, and welcome to yet another episode of Shine Africa. We are at the Somato Hotel in BMC, and I use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to management and staff of this hotel for taking very good care of us during our stay here. On today's episode of the show, we want to talk about clinical psychology. There is a lot that's happening in Cameroon, in Africa. We have wars. We have in Cameroon the Anglophone crisis, and up north we have the Boko Haram crisis. And of course, we also have marital problems. And all these things are running some people mad. Just who do they need to talk to? Ladies and gentlemen, before we meet my guest, put your hands together for our guest artist, Chris Will.
Girl, you don't strike me like thunder. You be my number one, no one know that. Girl, we go see your mother, cause she got it, girl, you better than them. Baby, come for the real place. Check bad man, panic, nah. Come close, baby, you know that. Girl, you better than them. Baby, drop that pretty body. Baby, wind that pretty body. Hey, drop that pretty body. Girl, you better than them. Baby girl, now you be my personal person, Nyango. Now you be my personal blessings, Nyango. Nyango, oh my personal person, Nyango. My personal blessings, Nyango. My personal person, now you be my personal blessings. Baby girl, your love and them at over now. With you I go cross over. Yeah, you make me feel like a stranger, baby girl. Girl, I love the way you dance. Body not be fire photo. You make my body move me. You better done them. Baby, drop that pretty body. Baby, wind that pretty body. Drop that pretty body. Girl, you better than them. Baby girl. Now you be my personal person, Nyango. Now you be my personal blessings, Nyango. Oh, my personal person, Nyango. My personal blessings, Nyango. My personal person, Nyango. Now you be my personal blessings. See, baby girl, I'm in you. Every day and night, girl, I'm in you. See my baby girl, I'm in you. Every day and night, we gon' take it down low. Baby girl. Now you be my personal person, Nyango. Now you be my personal blessings, Nyango. Oh, my personal person, Nyango. My personal blessings, Nyango. My personal person, Nyango. This is my baby mama. Me love you, mama. In your way, remember.
Master Robusta on the beat.
Shine, Africa, shine. Shine, Africa, shine.
My personal person, at least I tried to sing this one this time. So. Well, we thank Chris Will for that very beautiful piece, ladies and gentlemen. And now, can we put our hands together for our main guest, Tebo Emmanuel? You're very welcome to the show.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. You asked us to do the pineapple juice. So let's go to my kitchen where we do the happy juice, please, that way.
Shine, Africa, shine. Shine, Africa, shine.
Tell me, why do you like pineapples?
To me, pineapple is a very nice fruit, very sweet, juicy, and nutritive.
It happens when you're in the kitchen. Do you have a juicer at home? Our juice is ready. On Shine Africa, before ladies. So I serve you first.
And I feel very uncomfortable violating the rule because you know,
That is
woman is a mother of humanity.
wow.
So, exceptionally, I do accept that as
Wow, thank you. Thanks for.
man will serve before you.
Okay, thank you. What's your favorite color, please? I'll give you a straw. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
I give you a blue straw. And for being my husband's friend, I take a blue with you.
Excellent.
Have a sip of your juice, please. And just before we take leave of you, ladies and gentlemen, remember that a kitchen without a juicer is not alive. A kitchen without a juicer is not alive.
Shine, Africa, shine. Shine, Africa, shine.
You're welcome back from that kitchen break, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are just joining us, you're on Shine Africa, and we are at the Somato Hotel in BMC. I am still in the company of Mr. Tebo Emmanuel, who is a clinical psychologist. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be in this your wonderful program,
Thank you.
Shine Africa,
Thank you very
as
much.
a guest.
Thank
and I
you.
hope I'll be invited many more times.
Exactly. We have a lot of trouble in the world now. So there are some people who are just waiting to see if we're going to touch some angle of something that stresses them in life. Yes. And I must say that you were dedicated into the CMF same year, same batch with my husband.
Yes,
that was at
in
Simeon.
2004.
2004.
At PC Simeon. In the batch, Christian, the Daniel batch, because we're
Yes,
28
the
of
Christian Men Fellowship. Okay, that said, please, who is Tebo Emmanuel?
I will be very brief. Say Tebo Nzifon, Emmanuel, precisely.
Okay,
He's
okay.
a clinical psychologist, but before then, he has been a teacher for long.
Okay.
So now, I proudly address myself as a clinical psychologist.
This is
because
beautiful.
I do it with a passion,
Yeah.
a job I love so much.
Okay, we're going to come back to it. So where do you come from? A bit of, people want to know you a bit before.
No problem. I come from Batibo. We
Akriye.
commonly say one chances, two chances.
2 chance.
We don't also understand when you say where are you from, I just say one chances, 2 chances.
And we just understand.
We just
Yeah.
understand that is Batibo.
Okay. So I know that you were an inspector in the educational system,
No, a teacher,
or just a teacher.
Yeah,
And
a
so you,
classroom teacher.
classroom teacher.
Yeah, to be
How
precise.
did you become a clinical psychologist?
You know, in life, we always have ambitions, we have dreams, we aspire to attain higher heights. So it happened that after teaching the classroom for long, I discovered that I had some weaknesses which I could not overcome. For example, I had a pupil who was autistic. By then, I did not understand what is autism, a developmental problem which many children nowadays have.
Yes.
So I tried to help that pupil. It wasn't possible. I invited the parent one day and tried to work with the parent so that in that collaboration we could improve on the child's performance. So I asked the mother, what do you usually do with this child at home? How does this child behave at home? How does he interact with others? So she told me, actually, she confessed that the child has a problem and that she used to take a child to an orthophonist for some therapy. So it raised my curiosity, who is an orthophonist?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you that. That's a word I'm hearing almost for the first time.
So I used to pride myself as an unbeatable class 1 teacher.
Oh,
Now, I was faced with a problem which needed the intervention of another specialist to handle. So I said, but if there's somebody who can handle a problem that is more than me in this class 1, means that I need to go for further knowledge.
this is beautiful.
So I asked her, who is an orthophonist? She told me an orthophonist is a speech therapist who tries to develop speech in children who have
Autism, autistic
who
children.
who have speech difficulties.
Yeah, speech impairments.
I said, okay. So I started thinking, if I should go to university, then it will enable me acquire more knowledge on how to handle children, because working with children is a passion.
Yeah.
So I went to university.
The University of Yaoundé
Yaoundé one. with the
Which
10
year was that?
That was 10 years ago, 2010. That I went to
Ah,
university. Yes. So
well, you were.
I went
you
to
were-
university as a father, not
That's
as
what
a,
I wanted to say. Because in 2004, when I met you, you were already a father.
I was already a
so
father.
10
So,
years, oh God, this is
6 years after.
6 years after. It's encouraging to many people.
Actually, it was a big challenge. Now, my objective was to acquire more knowledge to enable me handle pupils with difficulties, which I couldn't do before. But when I got there, I discovered something new. I heard the teacher ask one day in class, during the first year, what is mental disorder? What is madness? Can madness be treated? Can a mental disorder be treated? We said no. We said a mental disorder can be treated. Then other students asked, if it can be treated, why are there many mad people on the streets? He said that is not a problem. The fact that there are many mad people on the streets doesn't mean it cannot,
They cannot
be
be
treated.
treated.
They can be treated. The principle is that there is no treatment without request. And then the next question went, who should make the request for somebody who is in that state? How can somebody in that state make a request? So he said, if the person in that state can't make the request, another person can do on his
On
behalf.
their behalf, yeah.
So the family members or their friends can make the request for them to be helped. So it raised some curiosity in me. It means that if I study this thing and I go back to Barabo, I can effect a change which nobody probably
Oh God.
had not done before.
Before.
And in life, we always strive to do things that will make us famous. Which,
Others have not done,
So
yeah.
I saw that this is my own domain. That
That will make you famous.
I have to take the challenge to be able to arrive at something which maybe
Yeah. and you
nobody
chose-
or many
yes.
people have not been
So
into
you
that
chose
domain.
clinical psychology.
So I decided from there that I would specialize into clinical psychology so that I'll be
Is that
able to...
mental health?
It is
Is there a difference between, I may not be able to call the terms or put them correctly.
appropriately.
Yes, but what's the difference between mental health and clinical psychology?
Yeah, clinical psychology is a specialty in psychology. I will start first from the base. Psychology, first of all, is a field that a broad field in social sciences that studies human behavior and cognitive processes. So we study the behavior of human beings, and with psychology, you can easily understand the behavior of somebody. You can control behavior. You can describe behavior. You can predict behavior.
So look at me now. What do you think? What's happening to me?
No, don't worry. Yeah, let's finish with first things first. That one, if it has to be
Okay.
done, it will not be here in the studio.
Oh, wow,
It has
okay.
to be at a
Quiet area.
a
Yes.
precise environment,
Uh-huh.
which is meant for
For
that
that,
practice.
yeah.
Yes. So there are many branches in psychology. But when we come to mental health is a psychological a state of well-being. A state of well-being. Many people often mistake mental health for mental disorder.
Oh.
Mental health is the state of well-being. Psychological well-being, physical well-being means that you are sound. But when we talk of disorder, it means that one of the functions or some of the functions have been altered. The way you think has been altered. The way you feel, there's an alteration.
Oh, God.
The way you interact with others
Has been altered.
So there's a dysfunction in the way in some senses. Some of the mental functions have been
Well,
disorganized.
we're
So-
going to come back because there is a lot I would like us to talk when it comes to psychology. We have a lot of women who've gone mad on the street because they had issues in marriage. We have some people like the IDPs, because of the Anglophone crisis. There are a lot of people in the main cities and they are not very balanced at the moment. I'm telling myself that these are some of the things that you should be handling. When we come back from the musical break, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we shall be looking at.
Problems bring you down. No, they cry your way. Just believe and do your best, and God will do the rest. Make you stand up on your feet and do what you know best. Make you wake up from your slumber, make you wake up from your sleep. Make you put aside your crutches and stand up on your feet. Elele, 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 asimelele, elele, elele, asimelele, elele, elele, asimelele, elele, elele. Tomorrow gets better, we get better. Tomorrow gets better, yeah, we get better. Tomorrow gets better, yeah. Tomorrow gets better, yeah. Tomorrow gets better, no dey cry away. Tomorrow gets better, yeah. Tomorrow gets better, yeah. No dey cry away. Tomorrow gets better, yeah. No dey cry away.
I wake up early morning, no money to drink garri. Another man in this morning is spending money like nothing. When I try to ask why, I remember tomorrow get belle. When I try to ask why, I remember tomorrow get belle. Life no be na kuti kuti, that's why I take in nyati nyati. Life no be na kuti kuti, that's why I take in nyati nyati. Tomorrow get belle,
No dey cry away.
tomorrow get belle.
Tomorrow gets better, yeah. No dey cry away.
Tomorrow get better. Why didn't you worry when you know tomorrow get better? Mama in body yeah we issue with Tebo more. Mama in body yeah we issue with Tebo more.
Tomorrow gets better, we get better. Tomorrow gets better, yeah, we get better. Tomorrow gets better, yeah. Tomorrow gets better, yeah. Tomorrow gets better, we get better. Tomorrow gets better, yeah, we get better. Tomorrow gets better, yeah. Tomorrow gets
Wow.
better, yeah.
Well, have a seat, please.
Thank you.
This wonderful. I love your chain to begin with.
Thank you
It's
very
very
much.
nice. How old are you, please?
I'm 22 years old.
Oh, at 22, you're singing very good music. So
Thank you
very
very
soon, you're
much.
just going to blow.
I believe so, amen.
Oh, wow. So for how long have you been singing?
For 3 years now.
3 years. How many songs do you have in the market?
7.
7 songs, singles or albums or EPs?
1 album.
One album of 7 songs.
Yes.
So these 2 you've done on the show today are in the album.
Yes.
Wow, that's very wonderful. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Very far.
Very far. Can you say?
Let me help you because I know that's the answer. Very far.
Very far.
Tell us, how can we find you on social media?
You can just on Facebook, Chris Way Official. YouTube, same thing. Chris Way Official. Twitter, Chris Way
Instagram,
Official. Yeah.
Chris Will Official everywhere. Thank you very much for coming on the show and see you some other time. When you blow, remember to remember me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Shine, Africa, shine. Shine, Africa, shine.
Let's keep clapping for Chris Will. Wow. That was a very wonderful performance from a young man of 22. Yeah. I'm still in the company of Mr. Tebo Emmanuel, who is a clinical psychologist. And before we went on break, we said we would come and talk about the IDPs, internally displaced persons, and then we also talk about marital issues. I'm a concerned woman because being a psychologist and being a pastor is not very different. So what do you people do with marital issues? How do you handle them in psychology?
Thank you for that pertinent question. Before we get to handling the problems, I would like that we identify, first of all, the different problems
Voila, that you handle as psychologists.
that partners face within
okay.
their marital life, from what we get during consultation.
Okay. Yeah, we must say that you work at Hôpital Jameau.
Hôpital Jameau,
Yes.
psychiatric unit,
Wow.
as a consultant.
Okay.
Now, in marriage, there are many things that create conflict within the or crisis within the relationship. We have dishonesty, we have infidelity, we have extravagancy, we have impotence, and so on. Deception, a lot of problems. So those are some of the things that cause both
Friction in the marriage.
yes, and push both the men or women to come to the hospital
Wow.
to seek for help. And where it becomes difficult is when one partner comes alone without the other. When both partners jointly come
It's
to
easier.
look for a solution to their problem, it becomes easier to handle their problem. But when one person feels victimized and comes with the other person being the protagonist, playing the hero,
And sometimes not
willing-
even knowing that or not wanting to admit that they are wrong.
that they are wrong. And in other cases, we also noticed that there are individuals who have sadistic minds. They are sadists.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So some may be conscious of the problem that the wife is suffering because of this particular problem, but they pretend not to know that the wife or a partner is suffering from
yeah.
that problem. And when the partner asks for a minute or time to converse or asks for even just a bit of time to
Listening
listen,
ear.
to ask for a listening ear, they are not willing. So it becomes a problem to the partner who is.
So how do you come in now?
Now, when both partners are there, it's easier for us to do a therapy, which some of the techniques I cannot reveal here in public,
Okay.
because you cannot generalize those
No,
techniques.
no.
We receive people as they come. Each case is unique.
Yes,
So
yes.
what goes with client A may not apply to client
What
B.
you do, is it counseling or medication or what is it you do?
We do psychotherapy, and there are different forms of psychotherapy. I, for one, I am a humanist. I apply the humanistic approach because where we're trained, there are many schools of thought. Some people like marital counseling, some behavioral therapy, some psychoanalysis.
Which one did you choose?
I chose the humanistic approach because it takes care of the human being in general, and also highlights the strengths of a person, not looking
And it
at the
appears
weaknesses.
to me that you have a lot of marital cases coming to you.
Yeah, a lot.
Do you sometimes refer them to the church or to other institutions where counseling can be done? Unfortunately, for us in Cameroon, we don't have a lot of structures where counseling is done. Maybe at your place, then churches.
When it comes to referrals, I sometimes refer them to my professors or my lecturers who train me, since they are more experienced.
Okay.
Sometimes when since with our approach, we also take people based on their beliefs. There are instances that have referred people back to their religious background to
Leaders,
go
yeah.
let the couple go to their religious obedience or
Yeah, and
Okay.
find solutions.
and get a solution there. So we don't have the monopoly of knowledge, but we work in collaboration with other specialists. No, depending on the situation we have at hand, because
Yeah.
sometimes we may require even 3 or 4 people to handle a particular
Yeah,
case.
let us talk quickly because we're almost running out of time. Let us talk about IDPs, people who have left the northwest and southwest regions and are here in Yaoundé, Douala, and other places. Do you have them coming to Jamo to look for help? We see a lot of them roaming the streets, and we have the impression that they need to see somebody, they need to talk to somebody to counsel them. Do they come to you?
Some have come, but many are not yet aware, not only the IDPs, but many Cameroonians are not aware that there is a unit at the hospital where they can go and express themselves. The general belief is that the hospital
It's for patients,
administers
people who are
medical
sick.
treatment, yes,
Yeah.
people who are sick. And when we go out to sensitize people about mental health, some people think that we are talking about mental disorder and that the hospital takes care of problems that have to do with medication.
Yeah,
But-
so now everybody knows that there is a section of the Jamo Hospital that takes care of.
Psychological problems
Psychological
which do
problems.
not necessarily require drugs.
Yeah.
And to talk about the IDPs, now many of them, generally we say when somebody loses a dear one or something precious, it becomes traumatized. It is obvious, it's but normal that we find many traumatized people on the streets because they have lost a lot. When you lost what you've worked throughout your life, it becomes a problem.
It's a problem.
Like somebody leaving his house, you go to work, on coming back, you find but ashes where your
Yeah.
house was.
You
It's
cannot be
enough.
balanced.
You can
You
never
cannot
be
be
stable.
balanced, yeah.
You can never be stable again. No matter the good advice or sermons that will be preached to you to console your mind, the fact that you've lost something, is enough to traumatize
Yeah.
you.
Okay, I'd like us to talk about mental disorder now. This is madness, right? Is it madness? Sorry. You're laughing at me, but I'm just a layperson when it comes to this.
Sorry
mental. No, you're right. I like it.
Emotional.
No,
Yeah.
that's in order.
Yeah, yeah.
Is mental disorder the same as madness?
Commonly called madness, yes.
Commonly called madness.
Madness, yes.
Yes, I have been to your hospital a number of times, and I see there's no way I can stand it. I look at all the mad people running everywhere, and I'm like, how do these people keep these people together? It must be so much work for you people. And someone told me that if you stay too long with them, you may also start behaving like them. What is your experience?
You know, common belief is different from the reality on the
Yeah,
ground.
that's true.
I also had that belief that when you go in that, go around that environment, maybe those people will brutalize you or do all sort or manifest violence on you. It doesn't go like that. There are different forms of mental disorders. So somebody's problem may be depression. Somebody's problem may be how do we call that one? A manic problem. It may be schizophrenia. There are different types of illnesses.
The one that makes people mad and they are picking peppers on the way. How do they call that
That
one?
one is called schizophrenia. That is the worst form of mental disorder, and it also has many forms.
So it
So-
affects your brain, or what
It
happens?
affects the brain, it affects the way the person feels, the way the person interacts with others, and so on. So
okay.
you may find some standing in a rigid position under the sun or under the rain. We call those ones the catatonic type.
Oh,
We
God.
find some that are very violent, the manic type. We find some who don't talk, they're just
Wow.
quiet. The
Okay, so
depressive
how
type.
can people
So
find you on social media?
on social media is simply Emmanuel Tebo.
Emmanuel Tebo, and of course they can come to the
Hospital
Jamo Hospital,
psychiatric unit.
psychiatric unit to look for you.
To look for me.
Yeah.
During holidays, let me.
You still
precise.
teach
I still teach. So
class 1?
I still teach class 1. The class 1 teacher.
You're still a class 1 teacher.
Still a class 1 teacher.
Yeah, it's the
Till-
best
till
of
date.
its kind.
And
Yeah.
I'm still keeping the register of class 1. Now,
Wow.
like this, if not of lockdown, I would have been in school.
Wow, okay, that's
So-
fine.
So it's an interesting field. I would like to inform the audience that mental disorder is not witchcraft. It is not all witchcraft. We are not refusing that witchcraft doesn't exist, but there are many problems that can destabilize
that can
somebody.
destabilize
As I
somebody.
mentioned that losing a dear one, losing a job, losing property.
Yeah, there are many of such
being,
problems.
having a love deception.
A divorce,
divorce,
and yeah.
there are many things.
Yeah.
So even
Okay.
failure can cause can
failure,
destabilize
yeah.
somebody. So people should trust the hospital. They should go first to the hospital so that from the hospital they can know exactly what type of problem they are suffering from so that they will have a better solution.
Okay, have a juicy break. You have a sip of your juice while we get somebody to ask you a question.
Thank you for my
It is the
nice
guest
juice.
question. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Tebo. My
Yes.
name is Emmanuel Bakwebut. I have a couple of questions. Firstly, I want to find out what are the criteria of becoming a clinical psychologist. Also, I want to find out is it possible for a mad person to become normal again? And also, is there a particular duration that a person can be mad and you just give up that there is no hope for this?
Wow.
These are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you very
Ebot.
much.
Thank you very much. I will start with the first question. To become a psychologist, you have to go through training, university training, for at least 5 years.
Oh,
So, even though you hear on the streets, many people say they are psychologists. When you have a degree in psychology, it doesn't qualify you to practice because you are not yet equipped with the necessary tools to do the job of a psychologist. Now you need to have at least a master's. So the minimum qualification to become a psychologist is a master's degree with at least 6 months of training supervised by an expert. That is another psychologist. Those are the requirements. Now concerning a mental patient, it is possible that somebody who has a mental disorder be cured or treated from his illness. All depends now on the family, the means they have, and also their beliefs. Because what complicates the treatment is the beliefs, our African beliefs. The beliefs we associate to mental disorder is what makes treatment difficult. The first thing people will say is that he has touched his hand somewhere.
yeah.
He has involved himself. Il a trempé. And because of that, he is stigmatized. But if the family can acknowledge that certain factors in life can destabilize someone, like we mentioned, deception, failure, loss of this, loss of that, that these factors can can destabilize one to develop a mental disorder. They will go to the hospital to have proper care and treatment. And most of all, the most important part of treatment we can give a mental patient is love. Because when we don't show love towards that patient or towards a patient, even with normal patients, treatment will not be effective. If you are sick and people don't show love, they bring tablets and throw there, they are mixing that. They bring food and throw, that's their food there, and go. When they don't show that concern, that love, you don't feel worthy. So it frustrates you, you see that you are a useless person. If I was useful, they will not treat me this way. And because of that, you develop some stress. And that stress will inhibit the action of drugs on your body. And so treatment will not come.
Yeah,
easily.
so can somebody who has been mad for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years be cured?
For cases of 10 years, I have seen cases of 10 years being treated. For 20 and above, I can't say because...
You used to put the mic in your... Yeah.
Based on practical experience, I've seen cases here in the city of Yaoundé, people who have been removed from dustbins and treated, and presently they...
At hospital?
Yes, treated at the hospital. And presently, they go to the hospital on their own for checkup.
Very beautiful.
And
So did
that
you
is-
answer all the questions? Looks like there was a
And-
third question.
That was the third question. Okay, the third
Okay.
question he asked was, is there a duration which, if the illness prolongs, the person
That's what I've
cannot
just
be,
asked here.
cannot
Okay.
be treated?
That's fine.
Concerning duration and practical experience, I can't state here with affirmation that after a certain period of time, it will become irretrievable. But the cases we've had here that have been for up to about 10 years,
And they have been
able to-
treated.
they have been stabilized and they are taking treatment. They have taken treatment and they are stable, and now they go to the hospital regularly on their own.
On their own.
Without
Okay.
being forced. But it was not an easy task for this particular case that I'm describing. The man had been on the streets for many years, and the family at one moment decided that no, this person should come out from the streets. And one brother opted to be the carer. And so he spent about 3 months in the hospital with that brother to care for him. At the beginning, the person sometimes he will mess up himself, do a lot of funny things. They will fight. The brother did not give up. He kept forcing and administering the drugs as they were prescribed until after about 2 months, the man became calm. He would get up in the morning. Sometimes he would greet him. Sometimes he would eat his food, take the plate and go and wash. And so
Oh,
when he started seeing
we
the positive
thank
changes,
God.
it was encouraging. And so he himself became motivated to
Yeah.
continue the job.
You cannot leave here without me asking you one question. I've been looking for who to ask because everyone says people in this situation have a psychological problem. You teach class 1, and I have a problem with rape, people who rape children and rape babies. And some of us think that they have a psychological problem. Do you think that if a man sees a 2-year-old baby or months, I mean a baby who is only months old, you take off the diaper, you rape the child, are you a normal person?
Actually, pedophilia is a problem. It's a psychological problem because it is, even with our societal norms or in whatever culture, it is an abnormal act. So any act which does not conform with the norms, pre-established norms of any community is considered a deviance. So that act is
The
mental
such
problem.
people need to be brought to you people. That's what you mean.
Yes, they need to be
Okay.
brought for follow-up.
And I say we need to add prayers to it. Thank you very much. And
Obviously, we cannot ignore the power
yeah,
of prayers because
yes.
man is a dualistic
Good.
being.
You have been answering the questions, and now it's time for you to ask me a question. What will the question be?
Well, it will be really difficult for me to ask the question, but the question will be a general one.
Okay.
That do our men of God think that all the people who have problems actually have demons in them? Are they actually possessed? Because when people go to church with difficulties, some
They pray until the spirit comes out.
until the
Yeah.
spirit comes down.
Yeah,
and then
thank
we'll
you.
bring you up and tell you that you are healed in Jesus' name. You have been delivered. So does it mean that any problem in life is synonymous to demon?
Or is spiritual. Personally, I do not think so. I think that we have to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. You cannot carry somebody with. It's true that if you have a medical condition, the spirit can, if we pray the spirit on you, you can get well. But then that will be minimizing the power of the doctors. These are all authorities that the Bible says in Romans chapter 13, they have been put there by the Lord. So we have to work in synergy. So if someone has a problem, I don't know about the pastors. I know that some pastors are Bible school pastors. I don't know how deep their training is, but I'm a trained pastor in a seminary where I study psychology too. So when you go to a seminary, you have to do a bit of psychology, a bit of philosophy, a bit of dogmatics, a bit of this, so that you are balanced.
Yeah.
By the time you're talking to somebody, you are seen from all the angles. Is
Holistic
it?
view.
Yes, it's a holistic view. It's not just this person is demon possessed. I think that this is done by people who have only that angle of training. Well, I cannot say more than this, and As long as you get well, for me, that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Permit me to appreciate the pastors and other church leaders who have been bringing their Christians to the hospital for follow-up.
Thank you.
That means many of
Thank
them
you.
have acknowledged that not every problem is spiritual.
It's spiritual.
There are problems
That's a
that
fact.
need
That's a
medical
fact.
intervention.
Now
Thank you
it's
very
my.
much.
I'm going to bring you back because there's no way to cut a fine show like this. I've been looking for someone like you for a very long time. I even posted it on my Facebook page, and some people answered present, but from other regions. We are going to go to the dance slot, and you have asked that we dance. What are we dancing to?
The old Makosa, because I'm of the old generation, so I like old Makosa.
Can we have a DJ on that beat? Wow. This is beautiful. We are going to just stand up, please. Let's see how many marks you've made for yourself dancing. Was it a 5? Was it a 7? 7 on 10. That's a pass mark. Please, can you have your microphone?
Thank you for the audience.
Thank you. And now you're not going to sit down. You're going to just give me your mic. Take this one. Get space, any space you want. Write your name, and then you sign.
Oh, it's an honor. Nature is that of the governor of Biak.
Oh, the governor of Biak. Tebo. Oh, you did it so boldly. Take your...
Thanks so much.
He did just here for verification. You're not going to sit down anymore. You don't come on Shine Africa and you go back empty-handed, so we kept this gift for you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Use your microphone, please.
Thanks so much for the invitation and for the honor.
Thank you, too.
I count myself blessed.
To
be among the privileged few as a guest on
Shine Africa. Thank you,
so
and thank you for coming. Thank you.
Shine, Africa, shine. Shine, Africa, shine.
Before we go, ladies and gentlemen, here is the watchword. It is an African proverb which says, a clever king is the brother of peace. A clever king is the brother of peace. I'd like to say a very big thank you to management and staff of Somatel Hotel for having us here during this time. And of course, I remain your host, the Reverend Abongta Mirabel Serengwa. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's a bye-bye from me to you. Bye-bye.
Jana